Hello everybody, welcome to the Snow Canyon Stitcher channel. My name is Amy. I am the Snow Canyon Stitcher. Today is January the 15th, Saturday. If you're new to my channel, thank you for visiting, and I want to welcome back all you guys regular subscribers, and I also want to say thank you to all my new subscribers from this past week. On this channel, I like to share my works in progress, and I'm shaking the camera. Sorry. I like to share my works in progress that I've worked on over the week, my cross stitch. And each week I try to do a video each week just to share what I've been working on and learning how to chit chat a little bit more. So thank you so much for joining me today. The first thing, just a little life update this week. Sunday, I ended up having to take my mom back to the emergency room because of her pain. And she's been in the hospital all week. So I've been going back and forth every day to see her. I did go this morning, and she seemed to be better today than she was yesterday. So they're still not sure exactly what the pain is coming from. She did fall a few weeks back, and she fell on her back. And they did an MRI. They did find some hairline fractures where they did a procedure where they went in and put cement, like a cement substance, to fill in those fractures. Usually people are up walking around that very day. But we're thinking maybe that it just didn't take well for her. So we're just gradually taking day by day, hoping that she'll improve each day. She was better today. She was improved. So, but yeah, so every day this week I was at the hospital. But thank you for everybody for your comments last week for my mom. She's 95, so, and she's still good. She's strong. She's just got that pain. I think she possibly has a kidney stone, but I don't know. That's just my theory, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, the next couple of days she'll show some more strength, and she'll be able to get up and move around herself. I also want to mention I received a couple of cards. And these are probably from December. I do not go by my post office box very often. I opened my post office box when I started my making bags for Etsy in my Etsy shop, so that customers would have a way to correspond with me. So I don't check it very often. And usually a customer will let me know if they're sending something, but I did stop by this past week. I was by the post office, like, well, I might as well go in, and because a lot of times there's junk mail in there, and I don't like to leave the junk mail and stuff in my box for too long. But I got a couple of cards probably during Christmas. I did go by my post office box in December, and there wasn't, so these must have been put in the box right after I checked it. So I will say that I do get by there at least once a month. But these must have come right after I checked it in December. But one of the cards is from Do2 Moon, a subscriber here on my channel, and it's really cute. It's a little snowman. She's probably heard me mention that I like snowmen, and it says, "Let it snow." And also a warm and friendly wish for a very happy holiday. So thank you, Do2 Moon. That was really sweet. I was so excited when I got it. And she had a couple stickers in there. So I do have some stickers to go in my book of days. These will be some of the first stickers I use, which I didn't update it today. I gotta get used to sharing that, right? So I'll do that while I'm doing my video. I also received another piece of mail, and This one is from Teresa Checkle. Thank you. I hope I'm saying your last name right. Please correct me if I'm not, because there's nothing worse than somebody pronouncing your name wrong. And she had sent me this little card, Let It Snow. It was super cute. I love this. And then also a pattern, Stitch Toolbox Mystery Box 2021 Silver Bells. So Stitch Toolbox on Etsy. I've not ever heard of them before, but it's a snowman. It's a pattern of a snowman. It's so cute. I'm gonna have to start this and stitch this. I love the house. I love big houses on stitching. Really pretty holly around the outside, and then a really cute snowman. So this is just super sweet. Thank you, Teresa. I love that. And also, there's a needle minder, and it looks like a reindeer skating on top of a gingerbread man. It's so cute. And let's see what, aw, his little arm broke off. And his hat. That's okay, I can fix it. I can glue that back on, so thank you for that. That's super sweet, and I'll get that fixed up. And so here is the Stitch Toolbox business card that was included in there, in case you guys are interested in that pattern. So thank you guys. That was super sweet. Actually, I had stopped by the mailbox there, my post office box, right after I had been to see my mom in the beginning of the week. So it really cheered me up, because it was a pretty rough day. So that was very nice. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry for it taking so long to mention it. Honestly, they must have put it in the box right after I checked it. So, but thanks again. Alrighty. I just wanted to jump in here for a moment and say thank you so much for the Buy Me a Coffee. Leslie Garcia, thank you so much for your donation this past week. The Buy Me a Coffee donations are super helpful for making those shipments each month, and I just really appreciate it. I had forgot to mention that in my regular video, so I had to pop in here just for a second and say thank you so much. It was super sweet of you. So alrighty, back to the regular video. Thank you again. All right, see ya. So I didn't get as much stitching done this week as I wanted to, but of course that's a given. But I do have a finish. So my 2021 plans, since I have so many samplers, I have mentioned that I guess this year will be a sampler stitching year for me, because I have just about every one of my whips I've started and almost finished are samplers. I am thinking about UFOing my Consider the Lilies, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But so my plans, this week I came to a revelation, I guess, how I'm going to manage my stitching this year. And I think what I will do is, because most of my whips are just about completed, each week I think that just about every one of them I can get done within a week's time. That's how little is left on each one. And so I did get one finished this week. And when I finished the sampler, like this one, I finished this one, I think it was Wednesday. There's still a couple of days in the week that I can stitch before I do my Flosstube. So I have fillers. And those are the starts that I have, my whips that I have that starts that don't have very much on them. So I feel like the filler I'll be able to catch up them to where they can become a sampler finish for that week. I hope that makes sense. But I was just like, hey, that's such a good idea. But the finish I have this week is my Long Dog Sampler, Live and Let Live. And I started this one in 2021. And super, super happy the progress I made on this. Honestly, when I first got it, I thought, oh, this is going to take me a long time. But it really didn't take near even half the time that I thought that it would take. But I was able to finish that this week. So it is now a fully finished. And this week I learned how to do a pen stitch. So I don't know where I learned how to start my cross stitching. Would have been about 3 years ago, and it's funny how old habits die hard. But this week, because when I was finishing the sampler, there are areas in this sampler where there's just one stitch. So like the center of the flower is one stitch, and then in these little arrow like things around the border is one stitch. There's no way that I would want to carry, I don't like to carry my threads, but there was no way that I could carry my thread. And so I was stitching those one stitch cross stitches the way I usually do, the way I start. But unfortunately, as I was going around and finishing, I was coming back and I was noticing that the stitches were coming loose. So I was like, well, I wonder how others do their, I think they call it confetti stitching. I wonder how they do that, because surely they, I mean, some people do carry, and there's obviously whatever you like to do, right? I don't know. I have a fascination with the back of my work being somewhat neat. In other words, not a lot of carried threads. So anyway, I was like, I wonder how others stitch confetti stitches, and some do carry threads, but I found Hands Across the Sea tutorial on something called the pen stitch. And so I learned how to do the pen stitch this week, and I absolutely love it. So now every time, like I'm working on one of my samplers, every time I start a new thread, I use the pen stitch. So that, to me, it's exciting to learn that stitch and how well it works. So I will, I'll leave a link to that tutorial in the description if you guys are interested. But the pen stitch is a great way to start and even stop your stitching, like when you're getting close to the end of your floss. You can also use the pen stitch to tie it off. Which I really didn't feel, I feel like the way I have been tying off my thread was fine, because I would run it under a couple of threads, previous stitches, and I felt pretty secure about it. But it was that one stitch that I was bringing back up to the top and clipping the thread that was coming loose. And so, yeah, it just wasn't working. And I knew I needed to make a change. So anyway, there she is. She's all finished up. Live and let live, long dog samplers. Okay, so I was able to stitch on a couple more this week. I didn't get a lot done, but another one that I stitched on Barbara Anna Designs Stitchingly Ever After. So I wanted to have a pattern that had something to do with needleworker. And so I think one of the most popular ones is out of print. So I typed in needleworker cross stitch pattern, and this one popped up, Stitchingly Ever After. And I absolutely love this pattern. I love the design. So I purchased it right away, and I was excited to start that one. So, and this is how far I was able to stitch on it this week. Down in this corner here is where the house, there's several houses in this pattern. I was stitching on the house, but then I was encouraged to start stitching up here, kind of take it in sections and work that way around it. The only issue is for some reason I did not get this pattern up. I have a few of the flosses, and so this star right here, also I noticed when I was stitching the star that I'm a couple of stitches off in my tree for somehow or another. I skipped 2 whole rows stitching a branch, but I really didn't want to rip all that out, and because it's like right in here, it's in this base area here, And I didn't really want to take all that out and restitch it for those 2 rows. So I just adjusted the start and just brought it down a couple of stitches. The only issue is that it's not as bright, the floss that I used. I didn't have the floss that it called for, so I'm probably going to take that out. I'm going to go and get all the DMC. It calls for DMC, and I thought I had purchased all the threads, but when I was looking in my stash, I didn't see them, so I must not have purchased them. And also the scissors, which are way cute, calls for silver metallic, and I used gold instead. And probably gonna redo that one because if you look at the pattern, this, I don't know, it's like cool tones against the red seems to be the, I mean, the gold would work because the butterflies are gold. I don't know. I will probably leave it and stitch a lot before I make the ultimate decision on that one, but I'm super loving this pattern. So that's how far I got on that one this week. And I am stitching this on, it's just a platinum linen Zweigart. I stitched the long dog sampler. I think it was Tyco. This is Tyco by Picture This Plus. So going back and forth to the hospital, I stay a little while with her just for comfort, because usually she's asleep because they're giving her pain meds. But I just go ahead and I stay a little while and I'll stitch while I'm there. And so I carry something with me in a project bag, and everything works out great. The only thing is that I notice that I need to do is I need better light, because I mean I can still stitch, but I would like it if I had better lighting. So I'm looking for a good little, just a little miniature light that I can maybe clip on the, I stitch in hand, so I don't know how I would do that. Maybe I can get a headlamp. I mean, it would work, but I was able to take that with me. Love Abide is one that I started recently and that I think would be a good Valentine's Day stitch. And so it's by Lottie Daw. It's called Love Abide. Love Abide. I think I called it Love Abode the other day, but it's Love Abide. And so I've been taking that one back and forth with me to the hospital and stitching on it at night when I have some time. And so this is, I started at the bottom, and this is the progress that I've made so far. And I'm getting better at posting on Instagram more often. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen these. I went today to visit her, and I was able to stitch the N, the O, and some of the P while I was there today. So very fun, easy stitch. Love it. Love it, love it. And so I'm in love with all my whips. The only one that I'm considering making it a UFO is my Consider the Lilies, and it's because I chose a white linen to stitch it on. So I think what I want to do is find a more marbled linen for that one. So kind of a change in my whips. I did a whip parade. So that's a little bit of a change that I'm going to have in my whips. And I always think, should I do a Flosstube today? Because I feel like I don't have that much to share. I do have my book of days right here, and I couldn't remember. So I am writing down what I stitch, but I couldn't remember. I don't think at the Sunday I didn't do any stitching because that's the day we took her to the emergency room. And I couldn't remember, did I stitch any on Monday? But I've been stitching ever after, and Live and Let Live. I just need to fill those in. And I'm gonna use one of my stickers that DO2 Moon sent me. So I need to write my finish over here. So I have a finish this year. And I did put 2021 in the sampler itself, but that's okay because that's when I started it. What do you guys do? Do you like to wait and put the year in it that you finish it, or do you put the year in it when you start it? Let me know. I'm very interested in knowing what your choices are on that one. I think that's everything, guys. I hope you guys had a wonderful week this past week, and that you're doing well, and that you're getting some good stitching time in. And congratulations again to the Project Bag Bundle winner, Lorraine, from last week. Your bags are on the way. You should be receiving those, which I learned. I used to send a tracking number. I like to send a tracking number so you guys can keep up with where they're at. But I learned the other day that once it leaves the United States, it's no longer trackable. So anyway, but I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you to the new subscribers. Thank you guys, my regular subscribers, for coming back each week, for your encouragement, your wonderful comments. Sometimes I try to get in there and respond. I am getting better at that, but I think I missed last week. But I really appreciate it, and I do read all your comments. And all your suggestions, I do take them to heart and listen. So, and I will see you guys. I guess that's all for today. I will see you again next week. Thank you so much. Stay well and be safe, and I'll see you next Saturday.